Let's look at another problem of subtracting where we're required to do some borrowing from our tens place in order to subtract the digits in our ones place. So the problem we have here is asking us to subtract 13 minus 7. So we're going to go ahead and set this problem up in the same way that we set up our two-digit subtraction problems, but in this case we have a two-digit number, 13, and we're subtracting a one-digit number from it, 7. So we want to make sure that we line up. We always have to line up our numbers that are in the ones column together and any numbers in the tens column together as well. In this case, since we have a two-digit number and then we're subtracting a one-digit number, just to help us keep organized, we can put a 0 before the 7, and that will just kind of help us hold its place. 0, 7 is the same value as 7, and this makes it look a little bit more organized with a two-digit number and a two-digit number. So let's begin again by subtracting the digits in our ones place. So we look over here and we see that we have 3 minus 7. But our problem is that we can't take 7 away from 3. There's not enough numbers here to take 7 away. And we know that we can't put a negative number in our ones place in an answer like this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work on some borrowing again. So let's look at our 13. And instead of just having it be the number 13, we're going to break it up a little bit. And so we're going to look at this 1 here. So I'm going to draw a little line between my 1 and my 3, representing that this is my ones column and that this is my tens column. So in my tens column, I have 1, 10. So let's make a little 10 bar here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So here I've got in my tens column 1, 10. And in my ones column, or in my ones place, I have 3 ones. So I'll draw these separated because they're just ones. This one's all together because it's representing a 10. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow this 110 from my tens column, and I'm going to move it over into my ones column. And so over here, I now am going to have 10 separate little ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've taken this 10 from here, and I've borrowed it, and I've moved it over into my ones column. So I still have the same number of squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I still have the same number of squares, but instead of thinking of it as 110 and 3 ones, I now think of it as no tens and 13 ones. So I now have 13 ones to take 7 away from. So if I were to rewrite the problem here, I would borrow 1 from this tens place and make this a 0. And in my ones column, I'm going to make this 3 a 13. And so now looking at my ones column, I know that 13 minus 7 is 6. And I put my answer here. And in the tens column, I've got 0 minus 0, which is just 0. And I could write it, but I don't need to. And so I can just leave my answer here as 6. So subtract 13 minus 7, and the answer is 6. Understanding this concept of borrowing is very important, and it's very important that you practice a lot of problems in which you need to practice borrowing.